You guys will not believe how much I paid for this. Now, another book that I did not know I was getting a first edition of is this guy here. This, you guys will be so surprised how much I paid for. I think at this point on my channel, you guys are fully aware of my obsession with Stephen King, not only with reading his books, but collecting his books as well. And while I'm fairly new to collecting his books, I've really only been collecting his books for a couple months now, I've learned some tips and tricks along the way. On top of that, I wanted to share with you guys some of the books that were pleasant surprises, books that I wasn't expecting to get the edition that I got, or I'm just excited about in general. So we'll go over that towards the end, but first let's go over some of these shopping tips that I have for you guys. Now, when it comes to finding Stephen King, there are 3 main places that I typically search and find them. The first place is going to be eBay. Now, eBay I have the most luck with because I'm able to purchase lots of Stephen King books, meaning multiples in one listing. So I typically will search the newly listed like Stephen King book a lot and see if I can find any good deals doing it that way. Now, the reason that I find good deals doing it that way is because obviously the more books that are like packaged together, it seems like I get a bigger discount on them. So for example, if you guys had watched this video here, you guys saw that I was able to pick up a book lot of I think like 10 to 12 books, I forget the exact number, and I paid about $26 for it. So on average, the books were about $2 to $3 a piece, which I thought was really reasonable. I have been purchasing some other book lots from eBay. In fact, I have one coming soon where there's like 22 books, I think, in that lot. So if you guys want me to do a haul video on that, let me know if you'd be interested. I don't know if like Stephen King book hauls get repetitive, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. So let me know in the comment section down below if I should film that video when I get it. Now, besides buying book lots from eBay, another reason that I like eBay is because a lot of the times I can see the actual book itself and see the condition that it's in. So it's not a mystery really what I'm getting. And sometimes I'm even able to score first editions that aren't listed as first editions. Stephen King actually has a resource on his website where he has all the books listed out with what to look for when it comes to first editions. So if you use that reference and go to eBay and look through the pictures of the listings, sometimes you'll get lucky. I've definitely gotten lucky like 2 or 3 times and gotten really good deals on some first editions. Also, since I mentioned Stephen King's website as a good reference point, another good reference for looking for first editions or just special editions of Stephen King books is Stephen King Collector. I'll put both of these resources down in the description box below. And the nice thing about the Stephen King Collector website is they'll actually tell you the approximate value of said book. Now, the second place that I've had some luck, I guess, finding books from Stephen King are used or thrift bookstores. Now, you guys have seen me shop around in used bookstores. I've done a couple of vlogs, and I'm constantly on the hunt for Stephen King. I always have my eye out. I've only really had luck getting like 2 or 3 books in this way, mainly because I think there's just such a high demand for Stephen King at the moment. And on top of that, it really just comes down to pure luck. I've asked the sales associates when I go shopping, like, are there particular days you restock the shelves, or do you guys get these types of books in frequently? A lot of times they're like, yeah, those books from Stephen King, they fly off the shelf. So yes, I'd recommend doing it if you enjoy doing it. I haven't had the best luck doing it personally, and maybe if you live in an area where, you know, people aren't looking for these books, maybe you'd have more luck. I have a feeling where I live, there's just a lot of people, so a lot of people are looking for them. Yeah. The third way to find Stephen King books is actually not a way that I've done it, but I've also seen a lot of people on Stephen King forums do this, is the Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, or any type of like community marketplace where you can find listings from neighbors or people in your area that are listing their books. Again, I haven't had a ton of luck with these listings. I do kind of keep an eye on them, but in all honesty, at least again in my area, people are asking like a premium price for Stephen King. I think because his name's so identifiable, people automatically assume that all of his books are worth a lot of money. And you kind of have to know what to look for when it comes to shopping like that. So I just haven't seen any deals that were worth it for me to like meet up with someone or have them ship me the books. A lot of times on these marketplaces, I'll see a book for like $10 to $15 when online I could find it for $5. So You just have to do your research, again, kind of get lucky, and I've actually seen a couple listings where I would have gotten a really good deal, but someone else beat me to them. So it's not a bad idea to keep an eye out on these types of sites. I just personally haven't had luck with it. So there's another way to find Stephen King books if you're looking for them. The fourth way is probably the second most common way I find my Stephen King books. So I kind of did this out of order, but is online used bookstores. So that usually means A-Books, Thrift Books, or Amazon. They're used books. I've gotten only a couple on Amazon. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. A-Books, I only bought one used book from them, and the book that I purchased was not what it was described as, so I ended up returning it. And the third website is Thrift Books, which I've had the most luck with. So these books that I'm going to be talking about in this video are all from Thrift Books. And the reason that I like Thrift Books is because not only do they tell you the condition of the book, which I'll get into that in a second, talking about how that's a little bit subjective. They have a really good system of like updating you when they get books in that are on like your wish list. So I'm able to jump on some books that I've been waiting for immediately when they list. I feel like their prices are very reasonable, and on top of that, their shipping is great. Not only is it, I think, like $10 or more, you get free shipping, but if you wanted to purchase like one book under $10, I think it's only 99 cents shipping. So their shipping's very reasonable. Prices are very reasonable. Oh, and the other thing that I love Thrift Books for, their selection is very impressive. Multiple reasons why I love Thrift Books. In fact, I'm going to put my affiliate code down in the description box below if you guys want to shop Thrift Books. I do get a little kickback so I can buy more books in general, but if you're going to be shopping with them anyways, I'd highly appreciate it. But I love Thrift Books. As I'm pretty sure all used book sites have, Thrift Books does have like a scale of the conditions of the books that you're going to receive. Most of the time it also says if you're going to have a dust jacket included or not, or if it's like a library edition book, which I have one of those. Usually Thrift Books will list that. Sometimes I've bought books that were supposed to have a dust jacket and then it didn't come with a dust jacket, or like I didn't know it was a library edition and it came as a library edition, or again, the whole scale can really be subjective because what you consider acceptable might not be acceptable to someone else. All of these things is kind of, I guess, a slight gamble because you don't see the actual book itself that you're going to be purchasing, which is again why I like eBay for books that I really care about the condition of the book. Sometimes I do just like to take the gamble and see what I get for the price, as I'll talk about with one of the books, because I'm like, what do I get to lose? For that low of a price, I mean, I'll take the risk. And by the way, this is with all used book sites that I've had these issues. It's not just with Thrift Books. And I don't know if there's any way to really vet that or get rid of those types of issues, because I'm assuming that all of the used book shops that use Thrift Books as like a platform to sell their books are the ones listing the condition, as well as whether or not it's library or if the dust jacket's there. And I think some people just don't know if it had a dust jacket, or obviously, like I said, the condition could be really subjective, so whoever lists it from the bookstore, it's kind of up to their discretion. So yeah, sometimes I've gotten books that I was like, oh, it's missing the dust jacket, so I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with those books. But of course, they're still readable, so I'm still going to read them, but just to throw that out there. So let's go ahead and get into some of the books that I've picked up. These are all, of course, Stephen King books. And again, like I was kind of saying at the beginning of this video, I was pleasantly surprised when I got all of these books because I felt like I got pretty good deals on all of them. As I'm going through these books, I'll put on screen the price that I paid for the book and also the approximate value, kind of referencing both the Stephen King Collector website and just like looking at prices in general online or on other websites, if that makes sense. Let's do, I guess, I don't know what book to do first. All of these, by the way, were pretty much in separate orders. Like I said, I heavily use their wish list system on Thrift Books. It's basically where you add books to your wish list and then you're notified by email when they get that book in if they're out of stock. So for example, this book here, Salem's Lot. I wanted this edition with this cover, but of course they were sold out of this. So I put my name on the wish list for this book. Then they emailed me when it came in. I bought it as soon as I saw the email, and this is the book that I got. So I guess let's just go ahead and start off with this book here. So for this book, I paid $20.59. On Thrift Books, this was listed as good. And I would actually say this is like a nicer condition than good. As you can see, the spines pretty much pristine. The dust jacket is really nice. There's of course yellowing of the pages, but I think this is a really nice condition. And also I am planning on putting archival covers on all of my books. I just haven't gotten to that yet. This is a book club edition book. It says so here on the inner dust jacket. Eventually I'd love to get my hands on a first edition because not only is this one of my favorite Stephen King books, but I think that the first edition would be really cool because it has a typo on the inner dust jacket sleeve. Instead of saying Father Callahan, I think it says Father Cody. So it messes up the character. So it's just kind of cool to have like a typo, which again is it in genuine first editions. But yeah, this I felt like was a very reasonable price. If you go on eBay, these go for like, I want to say like 30 to 40 bucks. Sometimes you see them go for 50. So at least I didn't have to like go into a bidding war. So another book that I got is this beautiful book here. I have been dying to get this cover of Firestarter. I actually have the paperback back there, which I'm planning on reading. This is like my nice copy or like my collector's copy. You guys will not believe how much I paid for this. This is what I was talking about when I was looking on the website and I was like, what do I have to lose? I paid $3.99 for this. And I saw it was a hardcover of Firestarter, so I was like, I don't think there's any other edition that's a hardcover that has this cover of Firestarter, if that makes sense. So I was just like, all right, it's $3.99. Let's go ahead and try it. And this is what I got. And I was super excited because not only is this in pretty decent shape, I mean, of course, we have some tearing of the dust jacket and it's obviously yellowing because this was originally white, but this is a book club edition, which if you can't get a first edition, you basically bump down to a book club edition. I am so excited that I paid $3.99 for this book, and once I get the archival cover on it, the like clear dust jacket cover, ooh, it's gonna look so pretty. So I'm super thrilled about this find. This was probably one of my more exciting finds from Thrift Books. And by the way, the condition of this was listed as acceptable. Moving on to another book that I got that I was not expecting it to be a book club edition book is this edition of Christine. Now, of course, I just love this aesthetic so much. It's just up my alley. I paid $7.89 for this and the condition was listed as good. I actually think this is very good. I mean, like the spine looks beautiful. There's not really any tearing. I've been slowly making my way through Stephen King books. I think I've read 13 up to this point. I've finished one this morning, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but yeah, this was another one. I was like, ooh, book club edition. I guess I'll show you guys my other book club edition. Now, this was actually listed as a collectible from Thrift Books. So not only do they have their typical listings or their normal listings, but Thrift Books also has like a section for collectibles. Sorry if the lighting's all over the place. It's raining today, so the cloud cover is just insane. I paid $40 for this and it was listed as good condition. I think that the condition of this is really nice. In fact, this actually came with this cover on it already. Like I said, it is a book club edition book, and for this edition, I feel like $40 was reasonable. If it's not at least market value, I maybe saved like 10 bucks. So I'll take it because this was one of the books that I wanted to pick up. This is actually one of my favorite books from Stephen King, like many other people. I'm definitely gonna have to read Dr. Sleep. I'm just trying to read some more books because I think there's some connections with Dr. Sleep in the Stephen King universe or multiverse that I want to connect myself first. I should probably wait, right? I should wait to read Dr. Sleep, I feel like, until I read more of his books. This is the book that I actually finished this morning, which is Skeleton Crew. And this is what I was talking about when I was mentioning the library edition books. So I paid $6.79 for this. This was listed as good condition, which I would say this is in good condition. There's a couple little like tears on the dust jacket, which I feel like are pretty minor. And of course, it's very loved. There's some dog ears in it because it was a library book. This is actually a first edition, and I don't know why people do this or like why shops do this, but the price is cut out of it, which definitely devalues the book. But if the price tag is in the inside of the dust jacket, that's a good indicator that it is a first edition, of course, among other things. Of course, another way you can tell it is a first edition is by going to the information page, and then you have this like series of numbers here. If it doesn't say like first edition, it usually starts or ends with a 1. Again, I'll put the resources down below of how to figure that out. And to be completely honest, number one, I feel like this was very reasonable for, like I said, $6.79. I also kind of love library books. I know, again, it of course devalues the book itself. I'm not in the Stephen King collecting space to make money. Like, I'm not trying to turn a profit off books. If I'm able to get a cool edition, then awesome. But I really just like the act of building the collection and the thrill of the chase. I actually like that this is a library book because not only do I know where it came from Joe Fort's branch from the Vancouver Public Library. So this is all the way from Canada. But I also love these kinds of things, like the little stamp card or to see how many times this was loaned out. I just like the feeling of being like, wow, I'm able to enjoy this book as well as like all these other people, this exact book. So I don't know, I might be weird like that, but I just think it's pretty cool to see. Now, another book that I did not know I was getting a first edition of is this guy here. I was so excited when I opened this up, not only because look how beautiful this cover is. I mean, it looks almost mint. There are no tears, there's really no bending, it's like super shiny still. This, you guys will be so surprised how much I paid for. I paid $9.99 for this, and this was listed as good condition. To me, this is like very good condition, I mean. Oh. And then, like I said, I was not expecting this to be a first edition, and it is. So I definitely got a good deal on this. I got lucky with this guy here. Like I said, sometimes you get lucky and get a gem like this where you get a surprise first edition. Other times you get unlucky and get a book without a dust jacket. The last book that I wanted to share with you guys, I feel like I got a fairly reasonable price for, is the Bachman books. Now this is the actual Bachman book that has Rage in it. Rage was one of the short stories that Stephen King himself took out of print. This one I paid $20.49 for, and it was listed as good condition. I feel like that's really reasonable. I mean, brand new books nowadays are like $20. So I got this book, which is like an out of print book. This isn't a first edition. In fact, it looks like it's a third printing. The only thing that I was really upset by with this book was Thrift Books puts like stickers on the spines of their books. Not the collector's ones, like I didn't get a sticker on this one, thank goodness, but they put a sticker here and it tore some of the black off the binding, which made me really sad, or the spine. Hey, it was 20 bucks. I feel like that was a really reasonable price for this as well, and like the cover looks really nice too. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to share with you guys some tips that I've picked up since I've started collecting Stephen King books. I'm sure you guys will have a lot more tips for me or some that I've missed, and I hope you guys will leave them in the comment section down below. I am really excited to see what you guys have to say because I think some of you guys might have some secrets that I'm not privy to, that I need to be privy to. I always kind of throw this out there, but if I'm like bombarding you with my Stephen King content, you guys have to let me know. But I mean, I could put out a Stephen King video once a week because that's how much he's like in my life right now at the moment. As always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!